My husband and I communicate very differently. In fact, that was one of the things that I liked about him at first because he had this fun side that was slightly different than my fun side that I could really play with and learn from. But as we got into making hard decisions, solving problems together, maybe having disagreements, those differences definitely got in the way. And so I had to learn how to be a better communicator in marriage. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm Nicholeen Peck. I am the president and CEO of Teaching Self-Government, which is a parenting and communications company, and we teach people how to self-govern themselves and how to teach that to their children too. Today, we're going to be talking about communication in marriage and how to improve. So I'm sure all of us have seen the videos about how the female brain works versus how the male brain works. And then there's just personalities too. And these things all factor into our style of communication. Although not identical, every person is not identical. Generally speaking, we think of the woman's brain as the brain that runs like a million miles a minute. It's just circling all the time, catching all these little bits of information, which is why people make the jokes about how women can multitask so well. Now, this doesn't mean all men can't do that or that some men's brains don't actually function in that fashion. Sometimes they do. We all are different. Everybody is a different type of person. But by and large, the man brain is compartmental. So the man brain goes into one place and they stay in that place until they get everything done that they need to. Then they move to a different place. Now, oftentimes the woman is very critical about the fact that the man does this because she's looking in all of his compartments all at the same time. And he's thinking, why can't you just get one thing focused on for a minute, right? So these are two different distinct ways of communicating. Well, then there's other things too that affect our style of communication, such as how many words we like to use. So some people talk more than others. Some people like to discuss around a topic before they even narrow in at the topic. Other people's like to just go straight to the topic and say nothing else. They don't want to beat around the bush. In fact, my husband is definitely that type of communicator, especially when he's got a lot on his plate. So if he's in a box and he's thinking about something or working on a project, and I need to talk to him about something, I can't say, "Hi, honey, how are you doing? How's your day going?" That drives him crazy. And I had to understand that that style of communication was something that he did not appreciate. So you know what I did? I adjusted. I said, "Honey, how can I communicate better with you when you're in the middle of a project and I need to talk to you about something?" He's like, "You can talk to me. I just need you to call me and just say, 'Honey, I need you to pick up milk on the way home.' Don't say, 'Hi, how are you?' Don't make me respond back. Just tell me what it is. I'll say, okay." That's it. It seems rude, maybe. It seems abrupt because that doesn't keep with proper social etiquette. But those social etiquettes and social nuances are usually used when people are at their leisure, not when people are feeling a little overworked, maybe even stressed, trying to solve a problem at the office. Or for my husband, he has a very hands-on job. He runs a construction and plumbing company, so he's literally in his elbows into something, and he's trying to talk to me on the phone. He doesn't want to have to answer little questions. So I adjusted. Well, he had to make some adjustments for me too. I like to discuss things. I like to say, well, this is what's happening here. What can we do to fix that situation? And he doesn't like to go into all that. He also doesn't like to discuss his feelings as much as I like to discuss my feelings. So I had to tell him, we actually need to discuss this. We have to have closure after something's done. We need to make sure that people are fully understood. And that was hard for him to take, but he finally said, "Okay, you're right, but I might need a minute before I can actually have that conversation." And I said, "Okay." So that's called adjusting. So we adjust to the different styles we have. I could go at length of all the different styles and personalities that people have in their communications, but you get the idea. Let's just look at how each other communicates and then deliberately talk about it so that we can make the adjustments needed so that we're not offended all the time. Why waste our time being offended when we can just adjust? We also need to understand people's comfort zones. Some people don't like to say as many things. Now, that doesn't mean they shouldn't learn and work on the skill, because good communication really is a hallmark of a great person, and that makes it so that they have greater impact in the world and in their relationships. But let's say a person is more shy, or they don't know how to put their words together as well. Whatever it happens to be, let's be understanding of those comfort zones that somebody might have. Also, things like being introverted and extroverted definitely relate to our comfort levels and our comfort zones. So in your husband and wife relationship, ask yourself, okay, well, am I extroverted? Because she is clearly extroverted. She recharges when she's with people. If the answer is no, if you're more introverted and you like your alone time to recharge, then you have to be understanding that she actually enjoys and refuels by being with people. So sometimes you're going to have to be with people when you don't want to be, and sometimes she's going to have to step back and recharge in a kind of just the two of you way where nobody else is around. Both of you have to be understanding. Don't think that one person is better than the other person. Everyone has different communication needs, as I was explaining in the story with me and my husband. One of the most powerful things that we did to make sure that each of us got our needs met was we decided to make deliberate plans on how to satisfy the needs of each other. Now, in marriage, you need to satisfy all kinds of needs. The intellectual needs, emotional needs, physical needs, lots of needs that we need to be taking into consideration. But people have certain communication needs as well. If one person really doesn't like to talk and another person does, it is the other person that doesn't like to talk that usually has to make the biggest stretch. So you're going to have to open up and just become maybe even a good listener. Maybe you don't have to do the talking, just become a really good listener so that person gets all of their needs met. So let's think, what needs do they have? How can I meet those needs? This is going to help your marriage overall, because you know your marriage is not about you, right? Your marriage is about you serving that other person. And if both people in the marriage think about serving the other person and meeting the other person's needs, then both people are very happy all the time. So each person has needs, but we all also have preferences. How do you prefer to be interacted with? Do you prefer to be touched? Or is it just talk for you? Do you prefer for somebody to serve you and work alongside you? For my husband, that's very attractive. He told me one day, because we talk very deliberately about what we prefer, what we like, what we think is attractive in each other, so that we can repeat those things, right? We want to have a good marriage. And he said to me, you know, whenever I walk in the house from work and I see you standing at the sink doing dishes, or I see you working on something for the family, he said, that is so attractive to me, because I've been working all day for the family. And when I come home and I see you working, I know we've been working together, even though we've been apart. Isn't that beautiful? So that's how he sees. That's a preference that he has. He loves to work alongside me. He'll say to me, honey, let's go out to the yard and let's pull the weeds. Let's work together on that. Or, honey, we've got to remodel this bedroom. Let's work on it. Can you come to the store with me? He likes to have companionship. And that companionship, just being there, working alongside him, not even necessarily saying anything, is really awesome communication for him. And that's important to recognize that. Now, he also likes touch, back rubs and back scratches. So I could give him a back rub and a back scratch. He wouldn't need to talk to me for a week, because that's good enough for him for communication, because touch is so important to him. But I like to talk with people and discuss. So guess what that means that he's going to have to do? He's going to have to acknowledge that that's my preference. I may give him a back rub, but that's not what I prefer. I prefer to have a good dialogue. And I prefer to spend quality time, to hold hands and walk on a mountain trail, or to walk along the beach and observe a sunset. That's what I love to do. And that type of communication is powerful for me. So did you even think of those other things as communication? Because they definitely are. Our communications are so important. The way that we communicate with our husbands and our wives, and the way that we communicate with our children literally lays the foundation for us being able to have happiness, joy, and security amidst all of our struggles. If you enjoyed this video, I know you're gonna love the next video, which will help with communication with your children. It's called How to Make Kids Listen and Obey. Check it out right there.